Seniors, as a brain doctor, this morning mistake triples your stroke risk. After 60 vertical bar, elderly health. Have you ever thought your morning drink could send you to the emergency room? Every year, over 795,000 Americans suffer a stroke. But here's what most people don't know. Many of these strokes don't begin with clogged arteries or high blood pressure. They begin with a simple mistake made before breakfast. One that millions of seniors make every single day without even realizing it. And the worst part? It feels normal, even healthy. In this video, we'll reveal the 5 most dangerous morning drink habits after age 60, and the one simple habit that could protect your brain starting tomorrow. You'll learn what to avoid, what to embrace, and how your first sip of the day can mean the difference between clarity or catastrophe. But before we dive in, ask yourself this: what did you drink this morning? Now, let's begin with something most doctors won't tell you, but every senior deserves to know. 1. The silent stroke risk. Why your morning beverage matters more than you think. It's early morning. Your body has just gone 7 to 8 hours without a drop of water. You wake up, yawn, and reach for a coffee or maybe juice or soda before thinking twice. But here's the problem. Your blood is already thicker. Your heart is already working harder. And your brain is already dehydrated. This is what doctors call the morning blood viscosity spike. And it's one of the most overlooked stroke risks among older adults. See, after age 60, our thirst reflex weakens. That means most seniors don't feel thirsty, even when their body is desperate for fluid. So what happens? You wake up, skip water, sip a dehydrating drink instead, and within minutes your blood becomes slower, stickier, and more prone to clotting. This is when strokes strike. Not in the afternoon, not after dinner, but in those first fragile hours of the day. Let's take a closer look at what's happening inside your body. Your red blood cells start to clump, your arteries tighten, and oxygen has a harder time reaching your brain. This increases your chances of a clot, a rupture, or a blockage, especially if you already have high blood pressure or a history of cardiovascular disease. Now, here's where it gets dangerous. Most seniors assume their morning drink is helping them wake up. But if it's loaded with caffeine, sugar, or chemicals, or worse, if they skip water entirely, they're setting the stage for a health disaster before 9 a.m. Let me share a quick story. John, a 67-year-old retired teacher, thought he was doing everything right. No smoking, regular walks. But every morning, he skipped water and started his day with a sweetened coffee from a drive-thru. One morning while reading the paper, he felt dizzy and confused. He tried to stand, then collapsed. The doctors said he'd had a minor stroke. They traced it back to one thing: severe morning dehydration combined with a caffeine and sugar surge. He had no idea his normal routine was quietly putting him at risk. That's why this message matters. Before you drink anything else, coffee, tea, juice, soda, you need to hydrate your brain, your blood, and your heart. 1 glass of water. Room temperature. Nothing added. That's your brain's safety switch. Because when it comes to stroke prevention, the smallest morning habit can make the biggest difference. And in the next part, we'll talk about one of the most popular morning drinks that looks harmless, but could actually be silently damaging your blood vessels every single day. Stay with me. 2. Sweetened iced coffee, a cool habit that heats up stroke risk. For many seniors, iced coffee feels like a refreshing start to the day, especially during warmer months. It's cold, it's flavorful, and it gives that caffeine boost we've all come to rely on. But what most people don't realize is this: when that iced coffee comes sweetened, flavored, or topped with creamy extras, it can quietly turn from a morning treat into a ticking time bomb for your heart and brain. Let's break it down. Caffeine alone already stimulates your central nervous system. It raises your heart rate, tightens blood vessels, and gives you that quick jolt of energy. But when you combine caffeine with added sugars, flavored syrups, and artificial creamers, the effects intensify. Sugar spikes your blood glucose almost instantly. That sugar surge triggers your body to release insulin, raises inflammation, and thickens the blood, making it harder for oxygen to reach your brain. In the first 2 hours after waking, this combination can place enormous stress on your cardiovascular system. Your heart must pump harder, your arteries become less flexible, and if your blood is already more viscous due to overnight dehydration, the risk of clot formation rises significantly. And it doesn't stop there. Many flavored creamers used in iced coffee are loaded with sodium-hidden salt that doesn't taste salty, but silently increases blood pressure. Some even contain hydrogenated oils or trans fats, which can stiffen blood vessels over time and raise bad cholesterol. For someone over 60, these are not minor details. They are warning signs. Now, let me share a story that might sound familiar. Linda, a 64-year-old grandmother from Florida, loved her vanilla iced coffee from a popular chain. She had one every morning, sweet, creamy, cold. She thought it was a harmless reward after her walk. But during a routine checkup, her doctor noticed elevated blood pressure and signs of early arterial stiffness. He asked her just one question. "What do you drink when you wake up?" That question changed her life. She switched to unsweetened cold brew, made at home, with a splash of almond milk and a sprinkle of cinnamon. Within weeks, her numbers improved. Her energy felt more stable. And most importantly, she was no longer putting her brain at silent risk. The lesson is clear. Iced coffee itself isn't the enemy, but the additives, the sugar, the creamers, the flavor, turn it into a danger that's easy to overlook. And when consumed on an empty stomach, the risk compounds. If you love coffee cold, consider making your own. Use unsweetened cold brew, plant-based milk, and avoid artificial enhancements. Better yet, pair it with a glass of water first to protect your brain and blood vessels. Remember, your morning drink doesn't have to be boring. It just has to be smart. And speaking of smart, the next drink on our list may surprise you. It comes in a bottle or box, looks like a healthy choice, but floods your body with sugar and puts your arteries under pressure before breakfast is even over. Let's talk about fruit juice. 3. Packaged fruit juice. How a healthy choice becomes a sugar bomb. It's easy to believe that fruit juice is a smart way to start the day. After all, it says 100% juice right on the label. It comes from fruit, it's colorful, and it's often marketed with phrases like immune boosting or vitamin packed. But here's the truth. Few people talk about most packaged fruit juice is far from healthy, especially for seniors concerned about stroke risk. Let's look closer at what's really in that bottle or carton. Even when labeled as natural or pure, most fruit juices have had their fiber removed and their natural sugars concentrated. Without the fiber that whole fruits contain, sugar from juice floods your bloodstream rapidly, causing a sharp spike in glucose levels. That sudden surge sends your body into a high alert state. Insulin shoots up, blood pressure rises, inflammation increases, and over time, this pattern damages the inner lining of your arteries. Think of it this way. When you eat an orange, it takes time. You chew, you digest, and the sugars enter your system slowly, buffered by fiber, water, and pulp. But with a glass of orange juice, you're consuming the sugar equivalent of 3 to 4 oranges in just seconds, without any of the natural barriers that slow down absorption. That's what turns this healthy choice into a metabolic shock. Now, for seniors, this becomes even more critical. Blood vessels in older adults are already more sensitive. A rapid rise in blood sugar can make arteries less flexible, increase clotting potential, and put more pressure on the heart. And when that happens day after day, the long-term risk for both heart attack and stroke begins to rise quietly, but steadily. Let me tell you about Robert. He was 72, active and proud of his healthy lifestyle. Every morning he drank a tall glass of store-bought grape juice, thinking it was helping his brain and heart. But at his annual checkup, his doctor noticed higher triglycerides and pre-diabetic markers. When they reviewed his routine, the juice stood out. Within a month of cutting it out and replacing it with water and fresh fruthus, blood markers improved and his energy stabilized. That small change made a big difference. So what's the smarter move? Skip the box. Skip the bottle. If you enjoy fruit in the morning, eat the whole fruit. Or blend whole fruits with water and fiber-rich add-ins like chia seeds or spinach. This slows down sugar absorption, supports digestion, and gives your brain the steady energy it needs, not a flood that overwhelms your system. Because remember, your brain doesn't need fast sugar. It needs consistent oxygen, hydration, and stable blood flow. And while fruit juice might look like a good idea, it's often just a sugar bomb in disguise. Now, if you think avoiding sugar means switching to zero-calorie drinks is safe, think again. The next item on our list is even more deceptive. With no sugar and no calories, it seems harmless. But studies now show it may be one of the most dangerous choices for seniors' hearts and brains. Let's take a closer look at diet sodas and zero-sugar drinks. 4. Diet sodas and zero-sugar drinks. Artificially sweetened, naturally dangerous. For many seniors trying to manage weight, blood sugar, or general health, diet sodas and zero-sugar drinks feel like the perfect solution. No sugar, no calories. And the familiar fizzy taste that's hard to give up. But behind the promise of zero lies a hidden risk that's anything but harmless, especially for aging brains and hearts. Let's talk about what really happens when you sip a diet soda. Most of these beverages contain artificial sweeteners like aspartame, sucralose, or acesulfame potassium. While they technically have no calories, they still trick your brain into reacting as if you just consumed sugar. This illusion sends mixed signals throughout your body. Your pancreas may release insulin, your appetite may increase, and your metabolism can become confused, leading to sugar cravings, fat storage, and, over time, blood sugar instability. But the effects go beyond metabolism. Recent studies show a disturbing link between artificial sweeteners and vascular damage. Researchers have found that seniors who consume diet sodas regularly have a significantly higher risk of stroke, heart attack, and even early memory decline. One study published in Stroke Journal found that people over 65 who drank just one diet soda a day had nearly 3 times the risk of stroke and dementia compared to those who didn't. Now, here's something most people overlook. Diet sodas are also dehydrating. Despite containing water, their caffeine content and chemical load can act as diuretics, meaning they pull fluid out of your system instead of hydrating it. That makes your blood thicker, slows circulation, and increases the chance of clot formation, especially dangerous if you've already skipped water that morning. Let me introduce you to Alice. She's 70 years old and had made what she thought was a smart switch. She gave up regular soda and began drinking 3 cans of Diet Cola every day. No sugar, no calories. But 6 months later, she began experiencing lightheadedness and forgetfulness. Her doctor traced it to poor hydration and spiking blood pressure linked to her daily diet soda habit. When she replaced those drinks with sparkling water and herbal teas, her symptoms began to fade. Sometimes, a habit feels healthy because the label says so. But the body knows better. So what can you drink instead? If you enjoy fizz, try sparkling water with a slice of lemon, cucumber, or even a splash of pure cranberry juice for flavor. You get the refreshment, the ritual, and the satisfaction without the artificial chemicals confusing your system. Because aging well isn't just about cutting sugar. It's about supporting your body's natural rhythm with hydration, circulation, and real nourishment. And now, let's move to another dangerous category that's even more aggressive in its effects. It's sold as energy. It's promoted as hydration. But for older adults, it's a recipe for heart strain, jitteriness, and stroke risk. Let's talk about energy drinks and sports beverages. 5. Energy drinks and sports drinks. The youth trap seniors should avoid. They come in bright cans and flashy bottles, with names like Power, Fuel, or Rush. Energy drinks and sports beverages promise focus, stamina, and hydration. They're often marketed to young athletes, but over time, many older adults have adopted them too, believing they'll help with tired mornings or long walks. But here's the truth. These drinks weren't made for aging hearts. And for seniors, they can do more harm than good. Let's start with energy drinks. They're typically loaded with high doses of caffeine, sugar, and powerful stimulants like guarana or taurine. While caffeine in moderation may offer some benefits, the combination of multiple stimulants can quickly push the nervous system into overdrive. This can cause a rapid spike in heart rate, irregular heartbeat, and sharp increases in blood pressure, creating a dangerous environment for stroke or cardiac events, especially in people over 60. Now, what about sports drinks? They may seem safer because they don't always contain caffeine, but many are packed with sodium, added sugars, and artificial dyes. These ingredients can raise blood pressure, increase fluid retention, and contribute to poor circulation, precisely what seniors should avoid. And when consumed first thing in the morning, especially on an empty stomach, the effects are even more dramatic. Let me share a real example. Frank, a 68-year-old former coach, started drinking a popular sports drink each morning after his walk. He believed it would help him replenish electrolytes and stay energized throughout the day. But after a few months, he noticed tightness in his chest and occasional dizziness. His doctor found elevated blood pressure and signs of arterial inflammation. When Frank cut out the sports drink and began hydrating with water and minerals from real food, the symptoms gradually improved. The lesson? Our bodies change as we age. What worked at 30 doesn't always work at 60 or 70. Older hearts are more sensitive to stimulants. Older kidneys are less efficient at processing excess sodium, and older blood vessels need support, not stress. So what should you do instead? If you're looking for a morning pick-me-up, try warm lemon water with a pinch of Himalayan salt. It gently rehydrates, provides natural electrolytes, and helps restore your body's balance after a night of fasting. You'll feel more alert without the crash or cardiovascular risk. Remember, true energy doesn't come in a can. It comes from nourishment, hydration, and listening to what your body truly needs. And now that we've explored 4 major beverage mistakes, it's time to reveal the most overlooked one of all. It happens before the first sip. And yet, it silently triples your stroke risk simply because it's what you don't do. Let's talk about the danger of skipping water entirely. 6. The number 1 mistake. Skipping water first thing in the morning. Of all the habits that increase your risk of stroke after 60, one stands above the rest. It doesn't involve sugar, caffeine, or chemicals. In fact, it happens before you drink anything at all. It's the simple act of skipping water in the morning, and it's more dangerous than most people realize. Let's look at what happens while you sleep. For 7 to 8 hours, your body is in a fasting state. You're not eating, not drinking, and not replenishing fluids. During this time, your body loses water through breathing, sweat, and even skin evaporation. By the time you wake up, your blood is more concentrated, your tissues are slightly dehydrated, and your heart is working harder to circulate that thicker blood through narrow vessels. Now, imagine starting your day with coffee or juice but no water. That thickened blood has to push through delicate, aging arteries. The flow becomes sluggish. The brain receives less oxygen, and the risk of clot formation rise especially in the first 2 hours after waking. Studies show that morning is the most common time for strokes and heart attacks to occur, and dehydration is a key factor behind it. Here's something even more concerning. As we age, our thirst reflex weakens. Many seniors don't feel thirsty in the morning, even when their bodies are in urgent need of hydration. That's why relying on thirst alone is not enough. You must act with intention. Let me tell you about Sharon. She's 74 and had never been much of a morning water drinker. She preferred to ease into the day with coffee and breakfast. But after a sudden spell of dizziness and blurred vision one morning, her doctor discovered she had dangerously low hydration levels. It wasn't just about water, it was about blood flow. She was lucky. It wasn't a stroke, but it could have been. Now she starts every day with 1 glass of room temperature water, no exceptions. And she feels the difference. Hydrating first thing in the morning does more than quench thirst. It helps flush toxins, loosen blood vessels, and jumpstart circulation. It improves alertness, digestion, and supports your heart and brain from the very first hour of the day. So here's your action step. Each night, place a glass of water by your bedside. When you wake up, drink it before anything else. Not ice cold, not flavored, just plain room temperature water. That simple habit could be the most powerful stroke prevention step you take all year. Because sometimes, it's not about what we consume, it's about what we forget. Now, you might be thinking, but I don't feel dehydrated. That's exactly what we'll explore next. In the following section, we'll dive into the hidden reasons seniors don't feel thirsty, even when their bodies are running low, and how that silent signal gap could put your health at risk. 7. The aging thirst reflex. Why seniors don't feel dehydrated until it's too late. By the time you feel thirsty, your body is already in a state of dehydration. That's true at any age. But for seniors, the warning signs are even more delayed, and that's where the real danger begins. As we get older, the body's internal sensors for thirst become less reliable. These sensors, located in the brain's hypothalamus, are responsible for detecting changes in fluid balance. In youth, they're quick to react. But after 60, these signals begin to dull. The brain doesn't register mild dehydration as urgently. As a result, many older adults simply don't feel the need to drink even when their bodies are already running low on water. This creates a silent vulnerability. Because without that thirst cue, seniors often go hours or even half a day without drinking. The blood becomes thicker, circulation slows, cognitive function dips, muscles fatigue more easily. And yet, there's no sensation that anything is wrong. Now, let's be clear. This isn't just about feeling a bit tired or foggy. Chronic low-level dehydration has been linked to higher risks of urinary tract infections, kidney problems, blood pressure spikes, and yes, stroke. Think of it this way. Ignoring your body's fluid needs is like driving a car on low oil. The engine may still run, but over time the wear builds, damage accumulates, and eventually, something breaks without warning. I want to share the story of Peter. He's 76 and active in his community. But over the course of several months, he began experiencing balance issues, memory lapses, and occasional headaches. He chalked it up to aging. But when his daughter noticed he rarely drank anything during the day, they investigated further. Tests revealed mild chronic dehydration. Once he began a simple routine drinking water every 2 hours during waking hours, his symptoms noticeably improved. That small shift brought clarity and stability back to his daily life. So what's the takeaway here? Don't wait for thirst. Don't rely on feeling dry. Instead, make hydration a conscious habit. Set reminders. Pair water with routine activities like brushing your teeth, taking medication, or reading the morning paper. You're not just drinking to satisfy thirst. You're drinking to protect your circulation, your memory, and your independence. Because dehydration in older adults doesn't shout, it whispers, until it's too late. And now that we've uncovered the hidden dangers behind thirst and morning routines, it's time to talk solutions. In the next section, we'll explore 3 brain-friendly morning drinks that hydrate, energize, and support stroke prevention without the hidden risks. Let's turn smart choices into daily habits. 8. Safer morning swaps. Brain. Friendly drinks that protect, not harm. Now that we've uncovered the hidden dangers behind common morning beverages, the question becomes, what should you drink instead? The good news is, there are simple, delicious, and science-backed alternatives that don't just hydrate you, they actively support brain function, circulation, and long-term heart health. Let's start with a classic. Warm lemon water with a pinch of Himalayan salt. This isn't just a trendy wellness ritual. The warm temperature helps wake up your digestive system gently. The lemon provides a small dose of vitamin C and supports liver function. And the Himalayan saltist sparingly adds trace minerals that help balance electrolytes, especially after a night of water loss. This combination hydrates, refreshes, and sets the tone for stable energy and blood flow. Second, consider herbal teas like hibiscus, ginger, or rooibos. Unlike coffee or black tea, these are naturally caffeine-free and packed with antioxidants. Hibiscus tea in particular has been shown in studies to help lower blood pressure without side effects. Ginger tea can ease inflammation and support circulation. Rooibos offers a calming effect and promotes brain clarity. Just be mindful of how your body responds and consult your doctor if you're on blood pressure or blood thinner medications. Third, try a green smoothie made with whole fruits and fiber. Blend spinach or kale with cucumber, a few slices of apple, chia seeds, and water. You'll get natural hydration, slow-releasing carbohydrates, and anti-inflammatory compounds. The fiber slows down sugar absorption, preventing glucose spikes. And the combination of greens and fruit fuels your brain with clean, stable energy. Let me tell you about Ruth. She's 69 and used to drink sugary orange juice every morning. After learning about blood sugar spikes, she decided to switch to a spinach-based smoothie with chia and lemon. Within weeks, her energy became more even. Her morning headaches faded. And during her next checkup, her doctor noted improvements in her blood pressure and fasting glucose. That change didn't require a prescription, just intention. So here's the takeaway. You don't have to give up morning flavor or comfort, but you do need to make smarter swap zones that hydrate, nourish, and protect. Think of each morning drink as a message to your body. Is it calming your system or shocking it? Is it supporting circulation or making blood thicker? Because every choice, even the first sip of the day, becomes part of your long-term brain health story. And while the right drink can offer protection, the wrong beliefs can still keep you stuck. That's why in the next section, we'll expose 3 of the most common myths about morning beverages misconceptions that quietly put seniors at risk, even when they think they're making the healthy choice. Let's separate truth from tradition. 9. Morning beverage myths that keep seniors at risk. Even when we try our best to make healthy choices, sometimes it's the beliefs we hold that put us in harm's way. For seniors especially, long-standing habits often come from advice that once seemed sound, but no longer fits the science of aging. When it comes to morning beverages, a few persistent myths continue to quietly raise stroke risk, all while hiding behind a health halo. Let's clear the air. Myth number 1. Fruit juice is a healthy way to get vitamins. It sounds right. Juice comes from fruit. It has vitamin C. It feels natural. But as we've already seen, packaged fruit juice delivers concentrated sugar without fiber. That means faster glucose spikes, higher blood pressure, and greater vascular stress. For seniors, it's a fast track to inflammation, not wellness. The better option? Eat the whole fruit. Or blend it with greens and fiber for a slower release and better absorption. Myth number 2. If it's 0 sugar, it's safe. Diet sodas and sugar-free drinks use artificial sweeteners that trick the body. They're linked to confused insulin responses, increased cravings, and even higher stroke risk in older adults. The absence of sugar doesn't mean the absence of harm. What's missing from the label is how these drinks affect your brain, blood vessels, and hydration over time. Myth number 3. Coffee is harmless unless you already have heart problems. Coffee can be part of a healthy routine, yes, But timing and ingredients matter. Drinking strong coffee first thing without water, food, or hydration can dehydrate you, spike blood pressure, and narrow blood vessels. Add in sugar and flavored creamers, and that harmless cup becomes a burden on the brain and heart. If you enjoy coffee, drink water first. Then, limit the sugar and choose lighter blends that are easier on your system. These myths persist for a reason. They're comfortable, they're familiar, and for years they weren't questioned. But now we know better. Let me share the story of Margaret. She's 73 and had followed the same morning routine for over 20 years: fruit juice, black coffee, and toast. She believed it was clean, simple, and safe. But rising blood pressure and frequent brain fog told another story. With her doctor's guidance, she swapped the juice for lemon water, delayed her coffee until after breakfast, and added water-rich foods to her meal. Within a month, she noticed better energy, sharper focus, and more stable numbers at her follow-up visit. Her routine hadn't just changed, it had evolved with purpose. So here's the message. Good intentions are a start, but only when backed by updated knowledge do they lead to real protection. Challenge the habits that no longer serve you, ask questions, and choose what works for your body today, not what worked 30 years ago. Because protecting your brain, your heart, and your independence begins with knowing the truth and acting on it. And now, let's bring it all together. In the final section, we'll walk through a simple, realistic morning routine you can start tomorrow. One that hydrates, energizes, and shields your brain from harm. Because prevention isn't about perfection. It's about consistency, and that begins with one smart morning at a time. 10. Tomorrow morning starts today. Building a safer routine. After 60, by now, you've learned just how much your morning drink can impact your health, especially after 60. Stroke risk doesn't only come from genetics or major medical conditions. It often comes from the smallest daily habits. Habits that, over time, either protect your brain or quietly put it at risk. But here's the good news. You don't have to change everything. You just need to change what matters most. And it all begins with the way you start your day. So, let's walk through a safer, smarter routine that supports your circulation, protects your brain, and strengthens your body from the moment you wake up. Step 1. Hydrate before anything else. Place a glass of room temperature water next to your bed tonight. Tomorrow morning, drink it before your feet touch the floor. This rehydrates your brain, thins your blood, and jumpstarts oxygen flow. It's simple, but it's powerful. Step 2. Delay your coffee or tea by 20 to 30 minutes. Give your body time to adjust. Let the water do its job. Then, if you choose coffee, go for a lighter roast with minimal sugar and no artificial creamers. Better yet, try herbal tea or lemon water to keep your system calm and balanced. Step 3. Avoid sugar, heavy drinks, and stick with real ingredients. Skip the packaged juices, energy drinks, and diet sodas. Instead, blend a light smoothie with greens, berries, and chia seeds, or enjoy water with a splash of fruit-infused flavor. What matters is how slowly and steadily that energy reaches your brain. Step 4. Make hydration part of your rhythm, not a reaction. Set reminders if needed. Link drinking water to familiar tasks like taking medication, feeding the dog, or turning on the radio. Over time, it won't feel like a chore. It will feel like a gift to your future self. Let me share one final story. James, 71, once joked that he never had time for water. He rushed through his mornings with just coffee and toast. After a minor stroke scared him into reevaluating his routine, he made a single change: starting each day with water, waiting before caffeine, and skipping his daily juice. 1 year later, his blood pressure is down, his energy is more stable, and he says he hasn't felt this clear-headed in years. Because change doesn't have to be big, it just has to be consistent. So here's your gentle challenge. Tonight, prepare for a better morning. Pour a glass of water. Choose your first drink wisely, and know that in doing so, You are choosing protection over pressure, clarity over chaos, and health over habit, because tomorrow's safety begins with today's decision. And if this video has helped you reimagine your morning routine, share it with someone you love. You might just help them avoid the mistake that changes everything. Stay well, stay hydrated, and start smart one morning at a time.